This is your grammar interim assessment. Write your name and your homeroom at the top. Anytime you need to take a second to think, make sure you click pause on the video. You can always raise your hand and ask your teacher to read anything back for you. There are 6 underlined parts in the passage. They may contain errors to be corrected, or they may need to be changed for better wording. If a change is needed, select the correct replacement. If no change is needed, select no change. Lost cities, lost treasure. In 1871, an adventurer named Heinrich Schliemann started digging in the ground of a Turkish city, seeking the lost land of Troy. Schliemann, a businessman and scholar, was born in Germany in 1822. As a young man, he dreamed of discovering the treasures of the ancient world, and even made a plan for it when he was 9 years old. His youthful sense of adventure eventually brought him to California, where he made a fortune in the gold rush. With his profits, he began his second career in archaeology. Archaeology was still a young science in the 1800s. In fact, it was hardly a science at all. The promise of treasure and adventure in foreign lands attracted people like Schliemann. Like a lot of treasure hunters, Schliemann was a smart, curious, and hungry for gold or fame. On the other hand, he loved ancient cultures, especially Greek culture. He loved learning and traveling. By the end of his life, he spoke 13 languages, including his native German. He loved Greek history and culture so much that he and his wife Sophia named their children Agamemnon and Andromache. There was another, less likable side to Schliemann. He has been described as a trickster who didn't always tell the truth. He was known for changing or making up details in his stories of discovery. He wrote a thrilling account of his experience in the San Francisco fire of 1849, even though he was nowhere near San Francisco at the time. And as much as he loved antiquities and learning, his love of attention and money were equally strong. They may have been too strong in the end. All right, for these questions, whenever you're looking at them, you need to go back in the text and find this underlined piece. So for example, this one is right here. You need to read this whole paragraph that has it in it so you can figure out which change makes the most sense or if there's no change needed at all. Pay close attention to the punctuation. 1. Which change, if any, is needed to the underlined text? 1822 as. A. 1822 as. B. 1822 as. C. 1822 and as. D. No change. 2. Which change, if any, is needed to the underlined text? California. Where? A. California. Where? B. California. Where? C. California. Where? D. No change. 3. Which change, if any, is needed to the underlined text? Life. He spoke 13 languages, including A. Life. He spoke 13 languages, including B. Life. He spoke 13 languages, including C. Life. He spoke 13 languages, including D. No change. 4. Which change, if any, is needed to the underlined text? He was known for changing or making up details in his stories of discovery. A. He was known for changing or making up details in his stories of discovery. B. He was known for changing or making up details in his stories of discovery. C. He was known for changing or making up details in his stories of discovery. D. No change. 5. Which change, if any, is needed to the underlined text? Learning his. A. Learning his. B. Learning his. C. Learning and his. D. No change. 6. Which change, if any, is needed to the underlined text? They may have been too strong in the end. A. They may have been too strong in the end. B. They may have been too strong in the end. C. They may have been too strong in the end. D. No change. Directions. The following questions are not associated with the passage. Select the correct answer. 7. Which type of sentence is the following? Although 300 volunteers searched, no one found the lost hiker. A. Simple. B. Compound. C. Complex. D. Compound complex. 8. Which of these is a simple sentence? A. Great-Grandma Lucy married Richmond Bell in 1937 and they moved to Arizona. B. There was little work in Oklahoma, but in Arizona they got jobs picking cotton. C. The work was difficult, yet Lucy was glad to have a job. D. She and Richmond worked hard and saved their money. 9. Which of these is a compound sentence? A. Lucky and Richmond heard about work in California. B. They could buy some land and a house in California's Central Valley. C. Folks were struggling to survive in most places, but in California they had jobs. D. Lucy and Richmond packed up, hopped on a train, and went west. 10. Which of these is a compound sentence? A. They couple found a house in the town of Dos Palos. B. Dos Palos was a small community, but the land was good for farming. C. Lucy and Richmond bought a cow, raised chickens, and grew vegetables. D. Their first child was born in Dos Palos in the summer of 1945. 11. Which sentence correctly combines this pair of simple sentences into a compound sentence? World War II began. Richmond joined the army. A. World War II began, but Richmond joined the army. B. World War II began. Richmond joined the army. C. World War II began, and Richmond joined the army. D. World War II began, and Richmond joined the army. 12. Which sentence correctly combines this pair of simple sentences into a compound sentence? With the men away, many jobs weren't open to women. Lucy became a librarian. A. With the men away, many jobs weren't open to women, so Lucy became a librarian. B. With the men away, many jobs were open to women. Lucy became a librarian. C. With the men away, many jobs were open to women, so Lucy became a librarian. D. With the men away, many jobs were open to women, so Lucy became a librarian. This is the end of your test. You have plenty of time to go back and listen again, or any parts that you're confused about, you can get your teacher to read to you. Take your time checking over your answers before you raise your hand and say that you're done.